Hey guys, Sal here, and today we're going to be taking our first expedition on this channel in a new series exploring dead places. Today we'll be in Woodlawn, Maryland at the Security Square Mall, and specifically Seoul Plaza at the south end of the mall. This whole area is actually pretty run down. Even for a section outside of Baltimore, it's not so great. It's littered with abandoned restaurants and closed buildings and less than legitimate practices. But these flowers here were a pretty pleasant surprise. First, we're going to actually go into the main portion of the mall. This is the main entrance to the Security Square Mall. And it's actually thriving. It's doing well. There was a lot of people there when I went, and the occupancy of this mall has historically been above 95%. I think that's large in part due to the bus routes. There's a lot of bus routes that come directly through the mall parking lot here. There's also an exit on the Baltimore Beltway that takes you pretty much right to the mall parking lot. But this mall's been through a lot. It's seen some renovations at the turn of the millennia. They updated the food court, the bathrooms, and some landscaping outside. Maybe those flowers were a part of it. I don't know. But the biggest thing was, if you look right ahead right now, you see that sweet neon. That is the security. There was a few security problems, and they put the security right to our left right now, and now behind us, right in the middle of the mall, just to be right in the middle of it. And if you look straight ahead, now we're at Security Square South, which is Seoul Plaza. So this is a corridor for the elevator, and the first time I went back here, I just wanted to try it to see if it was in good standing, and to see if it was just going to fall when I stepped on it. And this was my first expedition out to a dead place, and I didn't have anybody with me here. And stepping into an elevator that old and dilapidated looking didn't seem like the best idea, especially because my cell phone reception was pretty spotty, and it looked pretty sketchy in there. So for now, I just decided to not go in. So back in 2002, this was a JCPenney's. Penny's was in this space. Like, if you can imagine it, this was a JCPenney's. This is 170,000 square feet of retail space that JCPenney's was using as an anchor for the Security Square Mall. They were declining badly. They were not selling anything, and because of this, they put it up for sale. And in 2003, Sam Choi purchased this property for $2.2 million. Now, back in 1979, this was purchased, the same space was purchased by the May Department Stores Company for $25,000. Now, this is a weird concept, okay? Because typically you have a store, a retailer, who will fill as an anchor for a mall. The general manager and vice president at the time said, I quote, "They are literally developing a mall within a mall. I've never seen it done before. To my knowledge, it's a first. This was said by Deirdre Moore, who, again, was the vice president and general manager for the Security Square Mall when the Choi brothers took this over. What we're looking at right now is a Grande Mart, which was a supermarket that was catered towards Koreans. I don't know why, but I thought this floor was massively interesting. It's probably because the rest of the floor is so generic looking and someone took time to make that pattern. Ah, the Seoul Spa. Along with this busted escalator, there's a lot to be seen at the Seoul Plaza. Namely, this restaurant. Sadly, I didn't eat here. I wish I had, just to see what it's like. But there's a lot going on up here. Like this Plaza banquet hall. I'm not sure what went on there, but it looked like it would have been really interesting. So this was my first exploration of a dead place, and that guy came out of nowhere. And I was filming here for like an hour. So it kind of creeped me out a little bit. And as I was going to this hallway here, I thought there might have been people about to jump me or whatever. So I decided to FO and go outside. And the thing about filming dead malls is that owners want to keep it under wraps. So they don't want people filming. So I took the opportunity to walk to the parking lot to this IHOP right outside and to film that rusty knife and the accompanying IHOP with my Canon, with my actual DSLR rig. In dead malls that are still open to the public, you can't go in with a DSLR and expect not to get caught by security. And in my first few expeditions, I actually used a GoPro thinking that the form factor would be better, but the image quality suffers, and moving forward, I won't do it again. But literally right in the parking lot of the Security Square Mall resides an abandoned IHOP and an abandoned Bennigan's. Look at this. It's like after man. I'm not gonna lie, the signs could use some sprucing up. They could use a little landscaping, and I think maybe a little paint. And then I'd probably eat some pancakes there. Don't judge. I don't know why I got so curious about this, but I had decided to see if they were using electricity. And I think they are. But I studied violin in college and I don't know anything about electricity, so maybe you can let me know. Oh, also, I wanted to climb up that ladder until I didn't want to die from climbing up the ladder, either from not getting poisoned by heavy metals or falling and breaking my neck. I'm fascinated with that garbage, and I guess people are dumping here, which in the state of Maryland is completely illegal. Don't do it. But I can assure you, this place was an IHOP at some point. You can tell by that sign that says International House of Pancakes. I really wanted to see inside. I mean, I've been in dozens of IHOP places, but as somebody who goes around, you know, and does their urbex thing and tries to get into places, you always want to see inside. But as a rule, as a cardinal rule, if the place is locked, don't go in. Don't break in. If it's open, it's open. Now over here we have a Bennigan's, and right as I came over to this place, the tree that you're looking at and the bushes that surround it, there was a guy peeing in these bushes. You might not believe me, but the garbage surrounding this place will back me up. also that natural lights can. Awesome. Okay, so you might think that they're not using electricity, and this is why I questioned it. Because that lamppost was off, but there is a light back there, right there, that's on. So what's up? Are they paying electricity just for that light, or what? Like, why? Why pay electricity here? Somebody's paying it. I'm not. I know you're not, but who's paying the bill for this place? Oh god, it's completely overrun. It's completely overrun with bushes. Those lights are done. I don't know why they're not on. I guess the bulbs burned out. This place is just totally done for. Why is it still here? Surely somebody can buy this property and do something with it. Which I'll get to in a second. There was a town hall meeting in 2017 that happened. Oh, there's another one. Boom. Electricity. Done. Why is... thinking about it more, I'm pretty sure that they still pay for electricity, and by they I mean the owners, because there's a security system. They pay for security. Man, I really wanted to see inside this place. But I guess I'll suffice for just looking into the bushes. As a franchised chain, or as a chain, I guess a franchise is a little different, but it must look the same inside for each of these places. It is absolutely infuriating to see vandalism and graffiti on abandoned and dead structures and establishments. The entire purpose of making these videos is to document what once was for future generations. It's to give a glimpse into the past for when these places are inevitably redeveloped, because they're going to be. And when you go to visit these places, take it in, just look, just observe. Don't touch it, don't vandalize, don't do graffiti. Please. So I was done being teased by the IHOP at the premise of not getting pancakes. So I decided it was time to go back to the mall and to see the rest of Seoul Plaza. By the way, right there, that's the guy peeing that I talked about earlier. He's there. So one of the running themes in dead malls are roads in complete disrepair. Parking lots are a mess there. There's craters everywhere. And the Security Square Mall, the entire parking lot, front, back, left, and right, it's a mess. But one of the anchors of Security Square, right here, the North American Trade School, you can see a bunch of guys standing outside. I'm not sure if they're students or teachers, but a bunch of them are welding inside, and one guy's flipping me off. That's pretty interesting choice for an anchor tenant. And you have another mall entrance right here that leads into Security Square right before you get to the Seoul Plaza. And as you can see, there's a bunch of lease signs up. So they're trying to fill out the space. They're trying to encourage tenants to lease the inside space at Seoul Plaza, but it doesn't seem like anyone's biting. I tried making out what was there. There was some sort of title there. I couldn't quite make out the text. If any of you know what that was, please let me know. And to the left and right here, there used to be these awesome statues. Check out Dan Bell's video on this place. He went there, I think, a year or two ago when they were there, and it's so cool. So as I said before, this space was a JCPenney's, and the original tenant bought this space for $25,000 in 1979. Once JCPenney's failed, the Choi brothers, they bought it for $2.2 million in 2003. Now, again, this was a weird concept because there hadn't yet been a mall built and developed within a mall. This was a new concept. But it wasn't one that the Choi brothers hadn't done before. Down in Annandale, Virginia, there exists the original Seoul Plaza. I do have a video coming out soon on the Seoul Plaza in Annandale. And the Annandale location was their proof of concept to purchase their new Woodlawn location here. Their rationale behind this was in Ellicott City, which is a jog maybe 15-20 minutes down the Beltway from Security Square. In Ellicott City, there's a thriving Korean community, and the Choi brothers thought that this would be a great establishment to open for them, and that there would be a lot of traffic. Well, it didn't work out, obviously, and 7 years later, once they realized the place actually wasn't economically viable, they sold it. But they sold it for $13.5 million. So they made a pretty hefty profit on that. They tried to fill the space, and it just didn't work. And 3 years after that, this space was then sold again for $3 million. Okay, so here's the deal about the floor work. You know, I do find it interesting, but it's only because the floor itself is in such decay. There's signs littered around the entire place saying, be careful where you walk. And this looks like the floor was at one point damaged and it was patched. I don't think, you know, obviously this place isn't open right now, but you know, you have another little circle here that's different from the other circles we saw. And I don't know, I'm easy to please. So there are a couple of places open here. There's 2 nail salons. And there is one, I think it was a dance company. But here you go. Here's one of the signs. That's awesome. They're all over the place. And I don't think you can miss it. But the main source of revenue for this place, I do believe, is the Seoul Spa. And unfortunately, I couldn't get a full tour of this place, but I was able to get inside. And furthermore, I finally was able to get up the courage to go on the elevator. All right, so here we go. I really wanted to try this elevator, and I came back especially to try it just to make sure that it was working, and because I wanted to see if I actually had the cojones to do it, because this thing was not in good condition. If you see the FU thing there, if you rewind it back on the week there, these hallways were a mess. I didn't know where I was right now. Right here, yeah, obviously they wanted to blocked me off there, so I didn't go down there. I'm sure it was just offices or something. But this was the way that was open, so here I go. And in previous films, I have seen this hallway before, and it turns out it's not so dangerous. Okay, so Howard Brown, he's a developer, and he's the vice president of the David S. Brown Enterprises. He outlined a new vision for the entire Security Square Mall, and this was back in March of 2017. And this is what I was talking about before when I said that there was a town hall meeting. But before we get into that, check this out. I actually got in here, but they kicked me out before I could get any further. I'm going to try in the future to get further into the place, but this is the Seoul Spa. This is probably what is creating the most revenue. And if you look here, he gave me a brochure, and let's pause. Okay, there it is. Yeah, okay, I'm showing front and back, but here is a higher resolution scan of both the front and back. Okay, so as we're going down this elevator, let's talk. So Mr. Brown, who led the discussion at this town hall meeting, he developed a bunch of mixed-use places in Baltimore County. One of which was a 7 million square foot metro center at Owings Mills. Also the Lansdowne station at Washington Boulevard in Lansdowne, Maryland. Now, at the town hall meeting back in March 2017, there was a councilman there also, Mr. Tom Quirk. He said that because the mall's in his district, he said, this is not if or maybe, this is happening. We have a huge investor, and what we need to happen is we need the bigger fish to swallow some of the smaller fish. Because when you try to get 5 owners to agree on anything, it's very different. It's like trying to herd stray cats. To which Mr. Brown said a redeveloped mall near 695 and 70 would have no competition. As in most malls, it's time for it to be scrapped, and it's time to come up with a new concept. So, as it stands, the future of the unique Seoul Plaza in Woodlawn and its thriving counterpart, the Security Square Mall, remain uncertain. But its history will forever be preserved. I'd like to thank you all for watching this video, and if you did like it, please subscribe and set notifications on. And if for some reason you didn't like the video, please let me know why, because I'm always looking to improve and to make my videos better. Take care, everybody.